In this video, we're going to talk about integer division. How is division related to multiplication? Well, division and multiplication are inverse operations, and we're going to use this idea of inverse operations to develop the rules for integer division. So let's look at some examples. I have 3 times 7 equal 21, just a plain math fact. And I recognize it as a positive times a positive is equal to a positive. So if we change that multiplication to its inverse operation, which is division, now I have 21 divided by 7 is equal to 3. A positive divided by a positive is a positive. So let's look at another example. Let's now look at this math fact. 3 times a negative 7 we know is going to be a negative 21. A positive times a negative is equal to a negative. So let's change that math fact into division, and we end up with negative 21 divided by negative 7 is equal to a positive 3. A negative divided by a negative is equal to a positive. What would be the rule? Well, same signs. Positive divided by a positive is a positive, and a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So the rule would be same signs, your quotient will be positive. So let's look at this again. Same math fact, 3 times negative 7 is equal to negative 21, but we're going to change it around a little differently this time and make it negative 21 divided by a positive 3 is equal to a negative 7. So then what would be the rule? A negative divided by a positive is a negative. So unlike signs, the quotient will be negative. So there are rules for integer division. Like signs, my quotient is positive. Unlike signs, my quotient is negative. Same as the rules for multiplication. So what happens with fractions? Well, you could have a negative divided by a negative, and your answer will be positive. It's the same rules. Negative divided by negative is positive. Positive divided by a positive is equal to a positive. A negative divided by a positive will be negative, and a positive divided by a negative will be negative. Now, what happens when the sign is out front of the fraction? It just means that this whole fraction is negative. So after you do whatever you need to do for division, just make your quotient negative. Now, one thing you can do once you understand division, integer division, is finding the mean of integers. And the mean is also the average. So to find the mean, you can add the integers, and then you're going to divide by the sum of the number of numbers. So if I find the mean of negative 1, 0, 4, and 5, the first thing I'm going to do is add the integers. And negative 1 plus 0 plus 4 plus 5 would be 8. And the second step says divide the sum by the number of numbers, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers. So 8 divided by 4 would equal 2.